Hello friends, and welcome to the video. So here we're on the next episode of The Direct Path, a user guide by Goode. Now, we're in this section of the book looking at the witness, the opaque witness, and seeing if there's any workings behind it, or really we're getting the end of the journey now. Dissolving the opaque witness. Now, the last episode was on space, and space depended a lot on the things we'd seen in the first series of videos, first series of experiments on the outside world and on the body. And I did a recap. Somebody put, it's a nice story, but I think maybe I've been representing these experiments wrong, but you're supposed to do the experiments yourself. It's not like some of my other videos where I'm telling you kind of the ideas that Advaita Vedanta presents, like, you know, Brahman is Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, kind of this narrative. But these really are just experiments that you have to do yourself. It's a bit like going to the gym. You go to the gym and you go away and it's, well, that was a nice story. They're just experiments. If you have different conclusions, then that's fine. But you have to do the experiments yourself, not just listen to me tell you the conclusion. And yes, it's tempting for me to say the conclusion. I mean, maybe I shouldn't. I think Goode keeps away from drawing conclusions, but I'm always tempted to say, and this means that. So forgive me for that. It's not a story. It's just experiments for you to carry out yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't tell stories in other videos, but these ones really are supposed to be experiments you're supposed to do yourself. And if you didn't feel that you felt the space video was a bit me explaining dogma, then do the experiments. Go back to the other videos. There's a playlist. There's like nearly 30 videos. Do the first ones and see yourself. See if you really find seeing an apple, and then you see the apple, and then you see an apple behind seeing the apple. Do it yourself. I mean, I don't mean to be drawing conclusions for you. Okay, now, so we looked at space, as I said. I gave that review of space. Now, this one is about time, and we did see time, we saw memory, and it's easy to say, well, we saw that memory doesn't point to anything in the past. When a memory arises, it's not got any labels attaching it really to something in the past. It's just self-contained arising in awareness. And do the experiment yourself. Go back to the mind section. And we saw that there's no proof of any other arisings except for the present arising. So you could say, well, therefore time doesn't exist. But there might still be this feeling that the arisings are happening in a sequence, or the arisings are happening in time, maybe, that there's this container, that time and, okay, memory may not give us much, but maybe the arisings are happening in this time, which is maybe more fundamental than awareness. So we're going to look at that now. So we're going to look at time and how these arising, this feeling that we have this series of arisings, one after the other in time. Now, okay, so first just relax and feel the passage of time. Just don't be non-dual about it. Don't say, oh, it's all just the present moment. Just feel as you would everyday sense that time is passing, however that might feel for you. And the first question is that always present? This sensation of the passage of time, is it present, for example, in deep sleep? Do you notice time passing? Is it present maybe when you're watching a dramatic movie, or you look at a beautiful piece of art? Do you feel time moving in those moments, maybe a sunset or something beautiful? Or is time really something that isn't constantly present, something that isn't always there, is something maybe a mental overlay on our experience? on our direct experience. We're looking at our direct experience now. We're not looking at stories, narratives that we have about what's going on. The second thing, let's look at a single arising. So we're at the point in the book where we're talking about arisings instead of thoughts, sensations, emotions, but you could pick any arising. And see, we imagine that it passes from the future into the past. So it goes from the future, well, it appears maybe in the present and then goes into the past. Now, in that case, you would see it moving past, maybe like a car moving past a camera. Can you see that happening with these arisings? Are they moving through time? And if you did see a car moving, that idea that it's moving, is that anything other than arising in itself? Now the next one is, can you experience a past or a future arising? This is similar to asking whether you can directly experience the future or whether you can directly experience the past. If you can, is that anything other than a present arising? So when you have these arisings in the past, about the past or the future, are you really in direct contact with the time of the future? Maybe this is just, they represent thoughts about that rather than that arising in the present, rather than an actual time in the future. Okay, now we have this feeling, so we're very far into this study now, and it may just seem to you that arisings just arise as a stream, so you don't know anything else except that it's an arising passing, a whole stream of arisings passing, and that's all that you've got left. Now, do you really experience these arisings passing like a stream past the still witness? Do you see them there, or is it more an impression of a stream which is itself another arising? So in that case, are the arisings the content rather than the container? The time is, this flow of time is really the content rather than the container which arisings are moving through. Is that really another part of these arisings that we see? Now another way we might see it, perceive awareness and time, is that time awareness spreads out into the past and the future, similar to maybe how the frosting of a cake spreads across a cake, or maybe how a lake or a sea spreads out to the horizon. So do you witness, in your direct experience, do you see your awareness going like that, extending out into the future and into the past as well? Is it this kind of thing that's permeating this big super container of time? Now the next one is, if you think of something in the past, maybe you could, just like watching maybe a history film or maybe a sci-fi movie, something about the future. Now, when you have a thought, or there's an arising about the past, does that really mean it is the past? If it's about the past, does it mean it's in the past? If it's about the future, does it really mean that it's in the future? We saw at the beginning of this exploration, when we did the orange, we had the question of whether the sensation of an orange proves that there is an orange there, or is that just the only thing that you have is this arising, this sensation of an orange arising in awareness? Are there two things there? If you think of something in the past, or the past in general, is that something that's talking about the past, or is it really in the past? So again, without trying to put ideas in your head, it seems more like it's a representation in the present. And with these experiments, we've kind of seen that time is something which is arising to awareness. It's not something that's contained in awareness. It's not something that awareness navigates, or it's not a box that or space that awareness permeates. It's a representation, conceptual representation arising in the moment. And as we saw in the previous experiments, when we saw the mind, we have no proof of anything other than the present arising, claims that the present arising is making. So I hope that was interesting. The next video, it might be, I was going to do truth, but I think I missed one actually, so I might go back and do that. But I hope that was interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.